Okay, so we were talking earlier about projection and how I've experienced it, and I always wondered: are there different levels of projection, like covert, overt, and just subtle forms of it? What do you think?
Mm. I think it's always just one process. So,
Yeah.
so there aren't different types of projection. But what does happen? What I would say is it may or may not be visible. So let's say this process of projection is going on in someone. On the one hand, you might see someone who's very blaming, and they're always like someone who's very racist, for example, always going on about ethnic groups, black people or Jews or the immigrants. Always, our lives would be so much better if these people didn't exist. They're taking everything from us. Or it could be in the workplace. Oh, so and so is this the favoured one, getting everything, blaming them for something, or blaming them for making mistakes. Well, I don't make mistakes, do I? It's everyone else. Particularly that person makes mistakes. And that's so. Blaming can be very, very obvious, and it wouldn't surprise me, James, if you have in your life met someone who was blaming. And it's very difficult because you can't really argue with people that do this. They just go on and on and on, and they won't hear anything different. And incidentally, typically they won't handle criticism well because it's too close to home. It's too true. Someone who is very strongly taken up in this process of projection can't bear the truth. They need the help of a therapist in a supportive therapy environment.
Totally.
They won't hear the truth from their family members or close friends or boss. There's basically one type of projection. It's just a process, and the question is whether it's visible or not. So, firstly, if it's visible, you see someone who's blaming. Secondly, when it goes on invisibly anyway. So in anyone, it's a process that's happening that they do. This is a theory, and you might not know that this is going on in this other person. So how might you experience this fictitious person that we're talking about who's doing projection? Well, we could even experience them as very quiet, but unknown to us.
Oh, what do you mean by that? Quiet?
Well, it doesn't say very much.
That's how they can project in like a subtle way.
Yeah, because this process of projection is something that goes on internally, inside someone, and someone who's on the target, so to speak. Might not know. I mean, they might not know it. They might not know this is happening. They just know. They have a feeling that this person doesn't like them. That's all. Or they might have a feeling that this person's very isolated, doesn't talk to anyone, and that's all they know about it. Meanwhile, this person is almost destroying themselves, or let's say wrapped up in knots, and might be very anxious. This person might be having lots of anxious thoughts about the target of their projection. Oh, he said this yesterday and I hated it, and he should be sacked. I'd do a better job than him. This conversation is going on all the time in this other person that we don't know about. So it's something that could be invisible.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Because, I mean, there's sometimes I would say things like critique someone, or like, oh, look, he's doing that again or something. And sometimes the person's quiet, and I'm like, I think they think that I do that, and that's why they're not saying anything right now. Yeah. Is that an example?
Well, yeah.
It could be.
Yeah, it could be.
Can't read people's minds, can we?
Yeah. We can't read other people's minds.
Yeah. But just me, I can do that. Joking. No,
I mean,
I'm just
actually, if we could read everyone's mind, life might be intolerable, because if we knew every thought that was in everyone else's mind, we might feel a range of emotions that was unmanageable. We might feel afraid. We might feel, if we find out someone's got romantic fantasies about us, we might feel
I often think that.
Feel grandiose. We might feel arrogant and go, well, yeah, I'm the cat's whiskers.
Well, I don't know.
Or if we know that other people are thinking bad things about us, we might feel like really bad, or we might feel like shunning everyone. Well, anyway, it'd be an absolute minefield if we knew what everyone was thinking.
Yeah.